all, welcome back to my shop. Today we got a fun project, chattering tool. Today I'm going to show you how to use one and how to make one. So let's go have some fun. Okay, let's talk a little bit about chattering technique before we go too much further. Chattering only works on hard end grain. It doesn't work well on pine, but any hardwood, the denser the better. This is an exotic wood we're gonna demonstrate on. It does not do well with side grain at all, just end grain. It pays to sand it to your finished surface, so I would say get it up to at least 320 before you start doing it on a finished project. You can do a little less than that to get a smooth surface for practicing. I would say get it up to at least 220. The tool rest, you want the tool rest where it's going to be slightly above center, so you can take your tool and go from the center down, in this case down to about 630, moving it, and you wait until it squeals or chatters. If it's not squealing at you, it's probably not leaving an image. So you may have to press pretty hard on some woods. So now it also makes a difference what speed. You want to vary your speed from anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000. A slower speed gives you a finer pattern and a higher speed. And that's why the pattern will change as you go from the inside, where the miles per hour is pretty slow, to the outside where the miles per hour is faster, and then you're going to get a little coarser pattern the further out you go. So let's give this a shot. Let's start at 1,000 and let's try it. Try it at that. And there's the pattern. Not too dense. Now it's going to go to the outside, and I'm going to change the speed up some. Go a little faster. Of course, that would change. Just going to the outside will make a difference. But I'm going to bring this up to about 2,700. Let's see how that does. Going again to the center, out to about 730. And you can see we get a much different type of pattern that's quite distinctive. And then, of course, again, to make those pop a little bit, where if you're doing two patterns on the same piece like that, differentiate them with that little V groove I was talking about. Kind of punch this up a little bit. Okay, one of the principles when you do this is it helps if you can kind of highlight some key areas. So I'm going to use a pyramid tool. I made this in an earlier video, making small round tools. And we're just going to use this to kind of detail. Just kind of glance and see where it's a good place. Put one right here, one right here. And by doing that, it tends to highlight the areas and makes them pop a little bit better. The other technique I want to show you is coloring these things. Kids love to color tops, so this is a great technique for tops. So if you take a Sharpie or a Tombow marker or whatever, use it in the trailing position. Do it at a slow speed, maybe less than 200 if you can, and then just slowly bring it along. Don't press too hard, you'll wear them out prematurely. And then it also helps if you use a darker color on the very ends, such as black, to kind of again highlight, bring closure to that frame. And you can see, you know, how easy it is for a kid to do this. They don't have to do it on a lathe. Heck, they can get in there and scribble with it, but doing it on a lathe makes it very nice. Now let me show you how simple these are to make. These are a couple I've made. Basically, I turn the handle and I use a piece of conduit. Inside that conduit, I cut a half a dowel and glued it in, and I simply drilled a hole, put in a bolt, I think in this case a 1/4 inch, with a nut inside, and that works. I screw this down with this wrench, and it clamps down. This, by the way, is not one I made. I actually bought a replacement blade from Highland Hardware. It was only about $7.50, I think. I don't know who makes it. It might have been Sorby, but that's another option to get one if you're in a store where you can buy a replacement blade. Now here's a very similar one I made. The only difference between this one is it uses a cap screw that you can get at the hardware store, and then the wrench, I don't know if you can see this, I put a little magnet in the handle, drill a hole, and I've got a convenient storage place for my Allen wrench, so I can swap this out. Now in this case, I was able to find, I ran across this nut, if you will. It's a rectangular nut, and it's used in joining two countertops together, and that worked very well. It slipped right in there longitudinally, and then that cap screw goes right in and presses right against the tool. Okay, let me show you how you make one of these with an inexpensive purchase from Harbor Freight. If you can't find you a piece of spring steel, you can simply make you a tool handle like this. It's just simply turned, sliced on the bandsaw, and then I use a 1-inch clamp here to hold it. And this is this piece right here. I'll show the item on the screen, but this is a 5-piece high-speed steel set of cutting tools for a machine tool, machine lathe, metal lathe. And you can use this. You can use it as is, extend it out a little bit further, maybe 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 shape. We'll talk about shaping in a minute. And you get these other bits as a bonus. Now this bit right here, 3/16, basically that's the same size bit you typically use in your hollowing tools, as you can see here. So you can cut this in half and make 2 hollowing tools out of it as well. You can also use this as a hollowing tool, or you can turn this into a small little tool. I think I might have illustrated this in an earlier video on making small round tools. So that's one option. Now if you want a really simple way to play with this, simply get you a butter knife when your wife's not around. No, seriously, go to a Goodwill thrift store. You can pick them up for $1 or 50 cents a piece out of stainless steel, and they already have a handle on them. Then all you got to do is sharpen them and play with them. Now to show you how to sharpen them, basically I just want to show you the profile. It's going to really look a lot like these high-speed steel spear point scraper and this round nose scraper. That's 2 different profiles you can use, so you'll sharpen them the same way. Okay, let's test out one of these butter knives, see how it works. And I forgot to mention, when you sharpen it, make sure that the bevel is on the downside, so the top of the knife is the part that you will ride on, not the sharp edge, because there's no reason for you to have to, you know, nick up your tool rest with that edge that you ground away or that has the little teeth on it. Now again, you start from the center, and we're going to go down to about 7:30. So pick your appropriate speed. In this case, I'm going to try this at about 1600. And this is, I think I told you, this is a piece of Jubilo. Let's see how this works. Not too shabby. Let's punch that up a little bit with a spear point. Not too shabby. This would make a nice box insert, or the lid of a box, but it works real well with an insert with exotic woods with a lighter domestic wood. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's face this off. touch it up with a piece of 220. Now in this case, we're going to use the round nose. It's got a very hefty burr on it, maybe too much, so we're going to see how this works. And then if it doesn't work real well, we'll take the burr off and try it again. Not bad. Gives us a little slightly different pattern. And we're going to face this off, and then we're going to try it. We're going to take that burr off. I think it'll probably... Bonnie Klein is the master of this technique of using a chatter tool, and she says her recommendation is don't sharpen them much. If you do, take the burr off. She knows far more about chattering than I do. Take the burr off with some 120 grit. See what I'm doing here. And that burr is almost gone. I almost forgot to give credit to Brendan Stemp for this idea of using the butter knife. I think it was a great idea. Brendan Stemp is that great Australian wood turner. So we're going to try this again with no burr. And I can't say as I can see an appreciable difference, but I think you're going to get a little more controlled cut without the burr. But it does give a nice pattern. Okay, I hope this was good for you. Fun, you know, 2 cardinal rules of wood turning: don't get blood on the wood and have fun. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a comment. I appreciate your comments. And if someone has or leave a question. If someone gets to the question before me answering it, that's okay. Till later.